Well, welcome back to YouTube, episode 41. It has been approaching 6 weeks since I popped my last video on Christmas Day. That doesn't mean that I haven't been working, but I have taken a break from the camera so I can make some progress. And in some cases it was a matter of necessity rather than a matter of desire because of the weather. So with that said, this episode is going to focus on some updates. Talking about the upper cabinet build in the kitchen and showing you what the final result looks like. Also going to take a tour of the shower now that it's all done, and a door that I put on my vanity room. So with that said, let's get started. It's a little bit tight in here, but the first thing that I want to share with you is my vanity room door. I've got this thing all built and installed. I use these hinges to suspend it and hold it into place. It works really well. It's really nice. It is 100% cedar through and through. The way that I pulled this together is actually in 3 layers. I used some 1x2s in the center and used some 5mm plywood. And then I affixed and glued the cedar panels, both top and bottom, to that panel. It's grooved so the panel goes actually inside the 1x2, and then this sits on top of the plywood. Then I have my outside trim, which is 1x4 cedar. It goes all the way around on the outside and the inside, and I'll open it up and show you the inside here in a second. But it's pretty thick, but it's very light because it's all cedar, and it works really well, and I'm really happy with the way that it came out. Undo that latch to keep it from opening when I'm going down the road. Open it up on the inside, and you can see that it looks the same way. I can get a little bit further back here so you can see it more in a composite and full view. I put up my door stops around the opening in the door, and got her done. One of the reasons why this door is so thick, so let me show you what I got going on here. So this 1x2 that you see right here, this is actually the inner workings of the door where the cedar planks are affixed to the plywood. This is grooved, and the plywood goes inside that groove, and then the planks come up to the edge of the trim here. And then with that, the 1x4s sit on top of that and form the outside edge, and the thickness of this worked out perfectly so that there is a nice solid seam, as you can see right there, on the door. As I was saying, the original intent for this was to be a barn door and go across here this way, but unfortunately that wasn't going to work, so I had to come up with another plan. I used the same door but without the hardware, and got those hinges and suspended it that way. I've got 3 of them just to make sure that it stays in place. Tried to keep it symmetrical and make it look like the rest of the hallway. So there's my vanity room door. Got it all built, got matching hardware on the inside and outside so you can open it. The one thing that I haven't done is put a latch on the inside so that if you're in there using it, you can latch it and maintain your privacy. But that's the vanity room door. Got her all done, got her installed, working really well. I do need to take it out. I need to trim about 1/4 of an inch off the bottom of it so that it'll clear my flooring that I'm going to put in here in front of the shower. And once I get that done, it'll be completely done. So now we're going to move on and go and talk about what we've done with the shower. Alright guys, if you remember one of my very first episodes talking about when I built the shower, I had bought a shower door system, and that wasn't going to work because I didn't have the clearance. So what I did was I built my own. This is actually glass panels from the windows of the school bus, and then I put window tint on the outside of them. This is the same thing, but the larger windows. These are much thicker than these, but they all came together. Again, just as I did on my vanity door, I grooved all of the wood so that the glass would actually sit inside the wood. Framed it up, built it up, finished it up. Got everything caulked on the inside and out. It's actually silicone. It's black silicone. Oh my God, what a pain. One of the things that I do want to point out though is that I did retain and use as much of that other door as I could. I've got my track here on the sidewall that is from that door. I've got the bottom base down there that is from that original shower door right there. And then I've got the upper part right here. I need to do some cleanup and trim up. As you can see right there, I've got some silicone that's coming through that I need to take care of. I'll get all that taken care of. One of the other things that I did, if you see right here, it's kind of hard to pull it in because it's a tight space, but I used these copper reflective panes up here, put them in at the top because my mural that I put right here on the outside wasn't quite long enough, so I figured out a way to dress it up and I put that in there. I might come in with a piece of trim across here, I don't know. Looks fine the way it is. I think I might leave it as it is. I put this little light just to spotlight the mural on the outside. It is actually affixed to, again, 5mm plywood grooved inside of the trim, and it's permanent. This is supposed to be waterproof, which is why I used it here. And this is actually a fixed panel. I was originally thinking of doing 2 doors and have one on this side so that I could open the door, turn the shower on, and then close it, but there just wasn't enough room, so I just made this one shower door that actually opens. Pull it all the way back, that's as far as it'll go, and then we can turn on our light. And well, the battery's dead. Let me break right here and take care of that dead battery light. Alright, so I replaced the light. I got one that actually works now that's fully charged. So I have 2 of these. They are rechargeable. I did not want to run electrical wiring into the shower. These are waterproof. They're made for bathrooms, but they're rechargeable. And I've got the other one that was in here on a charger right now. They come with a remote control, as you can see right there. And you can turn them on and off with a remote control. There's also a switch on them. You can turn them on and off from the inside as well. But with that said, let's take a look inside the shower. I've got everything grouted, as you can see. I've got everything cleaned up. I got all my trim in. I've got my ceiling panels cleaned up. I used a bead of silicone on the bottom side of this, and these are actually permanently affixed to the tiles that go up underneath a good bit. I got my glass tile work in. I've got my shelves in. I got my top side for that. I've got my shower hardware in. So I've got a handheld that is over there, and then I've got a rain shower head that's up here. There's not enough room to stand up in this shower, even if this wasn't in here. So I'm going to put a bench in here. I've got a teak bench that I'm probably going to put in here to allow you to sit down and take a shower comfortably and use whatever you want to use. I had to build this up. I used glue and some tile that I had. This is one of these pieces that match, and this is just some spare stuff that I had laying around and based on some old ceramic work that I did, and I built that and put that in there. Guys, I will tell you right now, using black silicone on porous tile is a nightmare. I developed a better system after I did this, but it took me 2 days to get this thing cleaned up the way that you see it right now and get all that silicone off that porous tile. It's all sealed, it's all grouted, everything is final and permanent. As you notice, I got the blue protective cover off of the bottom of the shower. I've got those rags there just to seal the hole up because it's been dropping down into the single digits, and I didn't want that cold coming up in here or my heat radiating out. One of the other things that I want to show you, if I come in here, and I close this door, I've got me a mural on the inside as well, guys. This is a fixed panel. It goes all the way down. This one doesn't go anywhere. I've got my same copper panes up here. One of the other things that I had to do with this is put an acrylic panel over the top of the mural. Although it's waterproof, it's not intended for bathrooms and stuff. So I put the acrylic panel in, and I used clear silicone around it to seal up the edges. I put these here. This took some work to figure it out, but I put these in to seal water from going out this way. I don't know that it'll be a problem based on where the rain shower head is, but I put those in. It's actually two different pieces that are silicone together, and then they ride against the acrylic and seal the door. And I've got me a towel rack and a handle on the inside that I put. This is repurposed from that other shower door as well. Everything at the bottom is all sealed with silicone all the way around. This is all the way at the top. It's kind of hard to see because it's dark in here. This light is not meant to illuminate the world. It's just meant to give you some light while you're taking a shower. So that's where I'm at with the shower. She's all done, and that makes me really happy. And so now we're going to move on, and I'll show you some other updates that are related to the kitchen. Well, unfortunately, the cooling fans in my equipment cabinet came on because it's kind of warm in here because of the diesel heaters, but I'm going to close the loop on some things that we talked about in episode 39 when I was talking about the kitchen and put the tile in. So when I left you, I had told you that I had put the planks on the wall here. I need to stain and seal them. I'm going to do that today, later on today. I've got the wall built that is the other side of the refrigerator. I meant to bring it out. I didn't. I'm going to go get that and bring it out so I can show you what that looks like as well. So that is pretty much where I left you. We also had talked about bringing all the ceiling in and getting it out here. You saw me do all of that in episode 39 and got that all taken care of. When I left you, the rest of the kitchen was a complete and total mess on the top side. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me show you what it looks like now. This is the stove side. I've got my upper cabinets in on this side. I've got these doors built, and I put them in here. I've got some little RV hinges to support, not hinges, but struts to support the doors to keep them open. I picked up these little plastic bins. I like them. They fit perfectly inside the cabinet, so I think I'm going to get some more and use those. This is not intended to have a door because I need to keep this open for the vent hood to vent out. So that's why that's open without a door. This one is another cabinet over here. One of the things that I do want to show you underneath, we look underneath, you can see that I've got under cabinet lighting installed. I've got my electrical outlet installed. I can turn on my under cabinet lighting, and you can see that it's there. I can turn on and off my overhead lights. This side is off of my 12-volt system, and each of these lights are independent, so I can turn each one on and off independently, and I can also adjust the color and the brightness independently as well. So this is basically just to get power to them, and then they can be individually controlled. One of the other things that I did is my, if you remember in my previous videos, I talked about my special purpose lighting. So turn that on, come up here. Excuse me, I've got my LED light strips installed in the top cabinet on this side, and it runs all the way around the entire interior of the upper cabinets, front and back. And it's all permanently affixed. It's not going anywhere. I've tested it. I like the fact that it had its own adhesive on this side, and I was able to get those in. This is actually the pickup because it does have a little remote control, so I can change modes, colors, all of that kind of stuff independently and make this work. One of the other things that I found is that I only need one controller, because one controller controls all the lights as long as they're running off of this. So that's this side. Close these doors. This is the upper cabinet that I mentioned previously that goes across the top of the refrigerator. The other wall is going to come in right here along this and secure up to this. This is solid, it's not going anywhere. This is the door that will go up here. I don't have any hinges. I got to get some hinges so I can mount it. And one of the other things that I did, as I've done in the vanity and everywhere else, is I've got the back panels actually screwed in so I can take them out and get access, however difficult it may be, to my wiring harnesses and everything that's running behind the cabinets. Come over here, look in this one. You can see that I've got the same thing there. This is actually 2 pieces of wood. You can see the grain line right there. It's 2 pieces of wood that are glued together, and then I sanded them down and made the right height that I needed to put those in there. Come over here to this one. This is a piece of 1x4. It is open on the top and the bottom to support allowing the vent fan to vent out. And then I come over here, it's a duplicate of the other one. This one, the grain matches a little better. I really like it, but 2 pieces of wood, 1x4, 1x6, glued together. Pocket holes on the back side, and then the screws so that it can come out. I had to notch it around my plug, so that's an unfortunate thing. This one has both shore and inverter power coming into it, so I couldn't go to a narrower box, so I just had to open up and let it come through. A little bit unsightly, but it'll work. And then I can turn my cabinet lights off there, under cabinet lights off there, overhead lights are on there. Bringing everything, it ties in the entire kitchen on this side with my upper cabinets. I got one there, I got one there, I got one there, and I got one over the fridge like I said I would. And the only thing I'm going to have to figure out on this is how to support and keep that door open, because there's not enough room for those little RV hinges to work here. They would fill the entire hole, and I don't know they would work. I might be able to make them work. I'm going to try, but if they don't work, they don't work. I do need to figure out a way to trim and close this up. This is the kitchen side of the upper cabinet that goes over the fridge, so I'm going to figure out something here. So that's this side. All of the upper cabinets are built. I'm going to go over to the other side and show you how I did it, and then show you what I got on the other side. Alright, we're on the other side. This is that bathroom light, and as you can see, it's charging. When it's charged, that turns green. I got it plugged into my USB port here, and it's charging up off of my battery power. I've got 2 of them for this very reason. When one is dead and charging, I've got another one that'll be fully charged, and I'll show you how they work here in a second once I finish talking about all of this. So let's talk about how I built the upper cabinet. So this is the upper cabinets on the sink side. I've got 3 different doors. They're all different sizes. Again, put in the RV hinges across all of them. I will tell you that one of the things that was a challenge, if you notice, they're all fairly close in their opening position. This one's a little bit off, and I think it's because it's warped a little bit, but it was a challenge trying to get all of those to line up like that. On the back side, as you can see, I've got a 1x4 on the bottom, and I've got 1x6s on top. This is just a 1x6, and they're all screwed in as previously mentioned, so that I can take them out and be able to have access to all the wiring and everything else that's behind that panel. Going through this, so I've got my overhead lights. This is my under cabinet lighting here. You can see I've got one here, I've got one here, and I've got a bright one back there over the sink. All of these lights are running on 24 volts. This is a 12 volt light, and this is a 12 volt light, but I've got them connected in series, so they give me a 24 volt solution. Turning on my special purpose lights. Once again, this was a much longer LED light strip, so I was able to actually put it underneath the cabinets as well. So I've got it underneath the cabinets down here, bring it up to the top, and again, all the way across the back, up, and all the way across the front. For these cabinet doors, I was able to use some piano hinges that I had. They worked out really well. I like the way that turned out, and they're solid. Close this up. They're solid, firm. They're not going to come open going down the road. So let's talk about how I built this. So this is my cabinet front right here. This is a 1x3. This is a 1x4. And this is a 1x4. Or actually, I think this is a 1x3. Yeah. So the top and the verticals, those are all 1x3s. And this is a 1x4. And another thing that you'll notice is that I cut that top piece right there to match the angle of the roof, which gives me a nice, clean, solid line going across the roof so that I don't have to trim or anything. It just sits right there very nicely. So the way that I built this, as you can see, I've got these 1x2s in here. So I've got a frame that is built across this entire section, and it is at the 18-inch height depth that I previously established when I put this in, put my corners in. Here you can get a better visualization of it, because one of the other things that I had to do was I had to raise this one up so that my faucet would clear. And I missed that one completely, but I just raised it up 1.5 inches. This is the back side of the frame that runs all the way across from one side to the other. This is sitting on top of that. I've got frame up here. And then I used that 5mm plywood that I've used everywhere else and sealed off the bottom of the cabinet, trimmed it around. I've got my lights in. There's my plug for this side. If you remember previously, all that mess of wire and stuff that was in there, there's wire. All of that wiring back there is all cleaned up. I've got my under cabinet light switch right there, overhead light switch right there, LED light strip switch right there. I've got a charger here just like I do on the other side, and then I've got my electrical plug. And that pretty much covers everything I did with my upper cabinets. All of this, actually there is one thing I want to show you. If you look in here, so this right here is my cabinet front. This right here is a block that I put in between my uprights, and then this is screwed up into the ceiling where my strapping is, not into this. This has no structural integrity whatsoever. But all of these are screwed into where the strapping came down, so they're all solid, they're all tight, they're not going anywhere. If you look back here, you can see behind here, all of my wiring and everything is running back there. And it's all cleaned up. So there is the kitchen. Some other things that I did install. I've got this little, this is actually a towel rack, but I used it here to hang rags and stuff over the sink so that they can drain and drip dry. I put in a towel holder here. It's got a towel holder on the bottom with a shelf on top. I put this here so you can store things that you might need for the kitchen sink in there without taking up other cabinet space. So it's been a long road. I've been working on this for a while. I did a little bit at a time every day. Coming over here, I'll show you some other things that I did. This is the backstop that is behind all of the verticals that seal off the back of the cabinet. They're all fastened from underneath. And then I put this on top of that. Same thing here. And this is the backstop. And you can see the overall frame. Now I'm not going to cover this up because the refrigerator is going to be in here. It fits in nicely. This is actually about 1/2 inch above the refrigerator. And I had to do that because of the hinges right here. If you see the hinges, this is going to back into the cubby hole there for the refrigerator, and the front of the cabinet is going to sit right here at the back of this hinge. This is my actually my alignment block with the cabinet so that I know it's in the right place. And then once I get it in there, I'm going to have to figure out a way. It's not going to tip because it's going to be sitting up against this really nice. but I got to figure out a way to secure it so it don't walk out, and I'll figure that out when I get there. So I'm gonna stop it right here. I'm gonna go get that wall and bring it back out and show you how that came together. All right, before I start talking about that wall, there's three things that I wanted to touch on that I haven't yet. One of them I mentioned and I forgot, and the other two I never touched on, so I want to show you what I did. First thing I want to point out is the ceiling in the kitchen. Please note that I have actually whitewashed the ceiling in here to give some contrast all the stay, and you can see the demarcation line right there. This is the edge of the kitchen, so this is where it stops. Everything forward of this is going to be a little bit different. I haven't quite figured out exactly what I'm going to do, but I like the way it came out. I whitewashed it with some paint that I had, that I pre-mixed and had pulled together when I did the kitchen in my basement. And so I repurposed that and put it up here, and then once I got it all whitewashed, I came over the top of it with one single coat of sealer, just to give it a little bit of a sheen and to try to protect the wood from the cooking, humidity, all of that kind of stuff, just to close it up and seal it up. So that is item number one that I wanted to touch on, was the whitewash finish and the ceiling in here. Now we'll go back to the back, cross over where the fans are running, and go back to the shower, and I want to show you something else about the shower back there. All right, now that we're back at the shower, I wanted to point out this little piece right here. This is part of the original hardware for that shower door as well. This was actually the center guide track for the two shower doors. I had to modify it a little bit to get it to work here, but as you can see, it's screwed in. The reason for this is the way that I did the rollers for the top of the door, it wanted to tilt in. So I put this, when I grab the handle, you can see that it moves, but it won't go past that point. And that is there specifically to keep the door aligned. I've got Teflon tape along the bottom of here so it flows smoothly across this and doesn't scratch it up. There's Teflon tape across the back of this as well. So the door actually does open and close very nicely, and it's a very smooth flow when it does it. I've also got Teflon tape across the top of the track as well, and across the top of this as well, so that it flows smoothly. One other thing related to the shower that I did want to show you is how I pulled off excuse me, let me get that light on again. I don't know if you'll be able to see it very well, but are you kidding me? That light's going out. What I had to do, yeah, it's not gonna show up. Both of my lights have failed, but anyway, so what I wanted to share with you is that this shower door does come out. All I have to do is take that thing off, let it flow to the inside, pick up on it, and the rollers that I installed across the top of the door here pick up, and it'll come out and I can take the door out. So it is removable. It's tight, but it does remove. And what I had to do was I had to take some 90-degree angles that I got at the hardware store, and then I used the rollers that came with the glass shower door ensemble that I have, and I mounted those to the peak. So those things are sitting in there like this, with the roller sitting right at the top of where my thumb and forefinger meet, and that's where the roller is at, and the roller slides in the track and pulls it all together. They're really solid, they're not going anywhere, so I wanted to share that with you as well. So the other thing that I wanted to show you, because now I have to charge the other light, this is actually the mounting bracket for the light, and this attaches to the ceiling in the bathroom. Those lights actually go in here, and then you twist them into place, and they stay in there and are affixed to that. So they come in and out very easily. So as soon as that other one charges, I'll swap them out, get this one charged. I put it back here so that it lights up this area so that I can see what I'm doing when I'm working back here, because otherwise it's completely dark unless my security camera trips and turns the light on. So those are the three things that I wanted to bring up. It's actually four if you talk about the rollers, but I figured it's the ceiling, shower, and the light. So with that, let's get back to that wall. All right, well, there it is, folks. This is the other side of the refrigerator. This is the wall that's going to be in there. If you notice in the corner, you're seeing a lot of plywood and stuff. This plywood has a bit of a bow in it, and I'm going to have to work on pulling that out when I get it in. You can see I've got a line on the floor, and it's lined up with a line on the floor. I will be doing some trim work. I pulled the planks and stuff back away a little bit because I didn't want them interfering with getting this straight. The plywood itself is meant to butt tight up against the planking that you see on the wall there. I checked, that's all square and level, so I want to make sure that this plywood comes up and butts up very tightly to those planks, so that I know that it's level and square to the rest of the bus. Here is the line that provides my demarcation. I'm going to have to redo this because this is not going to be installed permanently until after I get my vinyl floor in. So that's why it's just sitting in there right now. It's not secured, it's just leaning. I'm going to have to trim off this top piece. I screwed up a little bit on that. Got it a little bit high, so I'm going to have to pull that down a little bit because this sits up tight against the cabinet, which is why this is stained to match the cabinet. And I'll dress this up in some form or fashion when I get there. If you look on this side, it is going to be secured to the floor through the vinyl plank with pocket hole screws along the bottom, and then walk up the wall all the way to the top. One of the other things that was fun was getting this contour. I used a contour gauge. I got it. I'm really surprised it came out really nice. The one challenge that I had is it was a little bit tight, so I tried to trim it down, and I trimmed it down just a little bit too much, and that is why you see the gap. But if you look at the gap, it conforms to the ceiling almost exactly. The way that I did that was I used a contour gauge. I started from where the edge of the wall was going to be, matched it up, and conformed to the shape of the planks. Transferred that to the plywood, and then moved down, and that's what you can see, these lines. I moved it down, did the same thing, and I started the next run where this one stopped, pulled the contour from that, transferred it to the plywood, cut it out, and it came out really nice. I like that contour gauge. It's like 10 inches long, so I had to do it in a couple of swaps. This part back here was a little bit of fun, so I had to more or less eyeball it to get that taken care of. But it came out really nice. I'm hoping when I do put the vinyl plank flooring in, it's going to come up a little bit, but nowhere near enough to cover that. So I'm going to have to figure out a way to dress that up on this side. But I'll do that when I get there. So that's the wall. That's the other side. Refrigerator will slide right back into here. And as I said, the hinges will butt up to the face of the cabinet. So it will come out. The actual door will be out further than this wall. So this right here on the refrigerator will line up with the outside of the door here. I'm going to trim this up. I just haven't figured out how I'm going to trim it up. And for a large part, that depends on what I'm going to do to finish out and trim up the other side of the wall. Once I get the floor in and get this in and final, guys, the only thing I have left is my living room and my bedroom. And I'm really happy. Well, and the cab, but that's going to be a project in and of itself. But that's where I'm at right now. So next step is I got to clean up the floor. As you can see from the seating marks, I've already started. I'm going to clean up this floor, and I'm going to get it wiped down, and I'm going to start working on getting that vinyl plank flooring in. That's why I've been working on it, so that'll be the next step in the process. One other update that I wanted to share with you, and I apologize for the fans. We had talked about in my previous video was a solution for this. So I've got this piece of trim. I'll be able to glue it, nail it, compress it, and it'll follow the contour of the roof and take care of trimming that out for me. So that's going to go there. We haven't put it in yet. One of the things I did have to do, I had to move my my internal router out a little bit to clear my cabinet space, but that was no big deal. Worked out really well. This diesel heater, the previous episodes that we had problems with it, been running and working like a champ since then. Both of my diesel heaters, with the temperatures the way that they've been, have been running 24/7 since my last video without issues. So I'm really happy with that. I don't turn them off unless the outside temperature gets above 45, and then I'll turn the back one off and let this one run, because this is where all my water and stuff is, and I want to make sure this stays warm. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope you like it. More to come. I'm really happy with the kitchen. So at this point, the 2 finished rooms in this bus are my, well, 3 actually. My vanity room, my shower, and my kitchen. It is pretty much done. Everything from here forward is all living room. That's why I'm not considering that as part of the kitchen being done, because it's not part of the kitchen. So that's what I got going on. I hope you enjoyed it.